Roadside service post-riot edition. The noises in the background are just partygoers. There's no riot right now. This video is fair use under U.S. copyright law because it is transformative in nature, uses no more of the original than is necessary, and has no negative market effect on the original work. And my work is protected speech as outlined by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. You can use that if someone flags your videos for DMCA takedowns as your only real response. As long as they see those keywords in there, preferably something pretty close to that, they won't let your video be taken down, because then they just tell them, sorry, he gave us the magic words, you have to sue him. People don't sue through YouTube. The only reason I'm including that is this is Bad Java with WAPTEK Roadside version, where I respond to all the comments that weren't fit to let post. So here we go. This is, of course, about people refusing to accept that Trump won when they're in favor of Trump. This isn't the special snowflake edition. These are people who are angry that I pointed out one little detail, you know, about how our system is rigged. It's the same one that was being discussed by Trump, but they don't want to hear that now because the shoe's on the other foot, and they get mad when you do that. So here we go. Foolish person. The amount of voter fraud occurs, largest amount, in metropolitan areas. Actually, no, it doesn't. The majority of voter fraud is done systematically by people at the state voter precincts. It's done by people who have the ability to affect more than one vote. One person at a time faking their votes isn't going to do anything. You have to cram ballots. That's been actually happened, and in Chicago it was done by 35 people at one point. That's nearly a third of the total number of people who've ever been found to ever do this at all. There isn't millions of people faking votes. This is a meme, you were told, because you're easily duped. Hillary votes, minus their illegal votes, would be far less than Trump's. Okay, so now you're admitting that the votes are actually higher for Hillary right now. And you want to invalidate them, even though she lost anyway, and it doesn't make a damn bit of difference because you're paranoid. Because you know that people are using that as an argument. I think we should change the system maybe a little bit. Honestly, we have one of the best systems, and having only 5 incidents in the entire time the United States has existed of this happening, it's not a big deal, and I'm not willing to change it. And you posted this to a video where I was telling everybody that. So basically you're agreeing with me, but you don't like the fact that I pointed out that, yes, Hillary did get the popular vote. More than Trump did. Anyway, after acknowledging that she got more votes than Trump, you're now saying Trump won, get over it. Okay, well, that's actually the point of my video. Trump won, everybody needs to get over it and stop rioting in my city. We have a representative, not a majority government. For some reason, it's called majority rules, and we actually do have majority voting. Even our representatives have to have a majority to vote, to have it mean something. That's why we vote. So you're denying the entire basis of our entire system by saying it's a representative government. This is wordplay. This is word salad. People in mostly rural states would have no representation otherwise. Now you're talking about specifically the representative government we have, but those representatives still vote, and it is done by majority. The representative government is done as a linchpin to make sure that we don't basically have a system that bullies people and makes them second-class citizens based on where they live. And I agree with this. But you're saying this to me. We are not your serfs. You're apparently kissing the butt of a bunch of people who've been lying about the entire basis of our voting system and our representative system, and you didn't like the fact that I clarified everything and put it in perspective and told people that they should, for the next 4 years, make sure that the system is no longer so easily gamed by stacking the deck every 10 years, which is going to happen in the year 2020. That really bugged you, didn't it? Next person. No wonder Soros in one video swapped the word popular for electoral when talking about Trump and Hillary. Yes, I'm rewording this. But what actually he said was, and then the guy reverses them. Then he says, Soros knows that neither the popular nor the electoral vote would let Hillary win. Okay, that's an interesting statement. Why would he know that or say that when you just said he said one thing and then said it another way, and then are you claiming someone edited the video? And who cares what he has to say? Soros knows that, no, Hillary won the popular vote, but she lost the electoral college vote because she lost on almost the entire country. The only one that's done more than that are a couple of other presidents I talked about in another video. I mean, she really lost big. She couldn't carry all the states. You need the consent of the states to have the president. That's kind of obvious. It's part of how our states work. That's why we have states. Otherwise, we would just have one. We would just be called America, and there wouldn't be states. There'd just be counties. Fraud and corruption can manipulate popular votes. It can, but it has to be done from the top down. Individuals can't change the election. That's the whole point. Otherwise, they would. They don't. There's been less than 100 actual confirmed cases of any individual doing this, and one of them took the lion's share of it, and it was Chicago. And you already know which particular party did that stuffing. They stuffed ballot boxes, and they burned ballots. And they got caught, because it's actually pretty difficult to do this. There is not widespread voter fraud here. There really isn't. Except when people gerrymander every 10 years during the... Yeah, I've already covered that. Next, we'll do the next set of comments. This is someone who's mixing metaphors and tripping over them. It's not a nationwide popular vote, even though that's actually what it's called, and it is literally the national popular vote count. That's what it's called. And Hillary won it, but you're going to say she didn't because you're terrified someone's going to use that. I'm sorry, but all of you that are conspiracy theorists need to learn every once in a while that you need to chill out and, you know, take a breather, especially when you won. Someone who's a Trump supporter almost picked a fight with me because I was agreeing with him. Because he wanted to have a fight. Why are you trying to fight me? And then he apologized later. Alright? He was having a screaming match with me when I was agreeing with him. That histrionic behavior I thought was reserved for millennials in the streets that we call special snowflakes when we need to be using snow tires this year about it. Each state citizenry votes for whomever they want to be president. Okay, you got that part right. Then there's their electors' responsibility to represent them at their electoral college. It's not their state's electoral college. You're claiming there's an electoral college in each state. No, there are electors that are distributed based on population and the census every 20 years, or every 10 years, and the districting. We do not have a nationwide electoral college, but that's actually what it's called. It's called the National Electoral College. That's its name. It's called the Electoral College, not the Oregon Electoral College or the California Electoral College. So you're literally contradicting what it is, what it says it is, what its description is, its definition, and its legal definition in the law. Okay. Let's go on. Next. If we did have a nationwide electoral college, this would allow electors to congregate in a single location and discuss whom to vote for, and would bring about not only the pitfalls of the government, I'm not sure where you're going with that, but also denigrate the spirit of democracy in our mixed republic. I actually agree with you, but that's actually what it is. It's the National Electoral College. You're just ignoring the fact that it's the National Electoral College. The electors congregate for the nation. There isn't one in each state. You're talking about something completely different, and you're going to ignore that you're wrong about this and just scream louder, aren't you? There's a stereotype about birthers and Tea Partiers and Trump supporters being like this. It's kind of funny. I just put them in the same batch that I do with pink-haired special snowflakes. Next. In other words, it attempts to prevent the influence of factions, special interests, oligarchies, despots, monarchy, weak central government, because it's always weak, I'm sorry, it really is, and mob rule from gaining control over the government. Yes, that's actually correct, but it is still a national... You're thinking of something completely different again. That's why we have state-oriented electoral college. It's not the state electoral college. It's the national electoral college. You're getting it wrong. You're talking about something else entirely. And you don't know the words for it, and you're going to scream louder because you're an ignorant putz. Anyway, to mitigate corruption, yes, that's what the National Electoral College is for. As well as individual state electoral votes determined by state population to give smaller states a relatively equal and fair footing in America. Both media... Okay, now we're going to get to the overt propagandism. Both the media and the politicians simply use the so-called national popular vote to mislead the public. No, they don't. It's actually just a number. It's the number of people who voted for one party or the other. This is a number. It's actually recorded. It's based on the actual votes. You're ignoring that because you don't like the fact that it doesn't match your worldview, because it shows that Hillary technically got more votes. doesn't matter because of what you've already discussed here. But because this kind of puts a little dink in your worldview, you have to fight it no matter how irrational you have to get. Next. And on how the system actually works. Actually, it has been described. You actually described how it works, and you ignore that because you want to believe that there is no possibility for Hillary to actually win the popular vote. It really stings your butt that she won the popular vote by, I think it's now 300,000 votes. That really bothers you, doesn't it? It gets to you, doesn't it? So essentially, Trump did win the popular vote. No, actually, he didn't. He lost the popular vote, and he won the electoral vote for the same reason you were talking about, to make sure certain states couldn't dominate, things like that. That is, in each of the states that voted for him, and ultimately the election, he did win the electoral college. There's not separate ones in each state. You are ignorant, you're in denial, and you're really terrified about this, because you know that Trump said that if the electoral college doesn't match the popular vote, we should ignore the electoral college and use the popular vote. You know that. It really bugs you. He said that like 8 times. Nobody's going to hold him to it. Nobody's trying to, because it actually benefits the Democrats most of the time. In case you didn't notice, they're the ones who kind of benefit most from that little fix. The other fix I talked about was stacking the deck by districting. It's called gerrymandering. You didn't like that. So you're being a contrarian. Welcome to YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And I'm going to advise someone about a quadricopter tomorrow.